EDF ready to review rehearsal SOP after copter crash. EPF announces account restructuring initiative. Good evening, Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. The Defence Ministry is ready to assess the need to review the Standard Operating Procedures SOPs for rehearsals following Tuesday's crash involving two Royal Malaysian Navy TLDM helicopters in Lumut, Perak that claimed the lives of 10 personnel. Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said the decision to review the SOPs would be made after receiving the complete investigation report on the incident.
Kita akan tunggu laporan siasatan, daripada situ kita akan lakukan perkara-perkara yang wajar dilakukan. Siasatan jawatankuasa akan dibentuk dan mereka akan tentukan siapa lagi yang boleh bantu. Okay. Kita mesti nak tahu sejelas-jelasnya apa yang berlaku. Jadi apa saja yang boleh bantu kita, sebab tak ada apa yang nak ketepikan ataupun disorokkan.
Met by reporters today, Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid did not discount the possibility that the inquiry board would summon all parties, including the helicopter suppliers, to complete its investigation. In the 9:32 a.m. incident on Tuesday, two TLDM helicopters collided while conducting a third rehearsal for a flypast as part of the Navy's 90th anniversary event, initially scheduled for this Saturday. Following the incident, the celebration was cancelled and replaced with a prayer session and tahlil recitation. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today denied claim that the government will issue a licence for the operation of a casino in Forest City, Johor. Speaking to reporters after attending the Madani Muhibbah Aidilfitri 2024 event today, Datuk Seri Anwar stressed this in a brief reply. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, said this in response to the report published by an international news portal claiming that he had met with the founder of Berjaya Corporation Berhad, Tan Sri Vincent Tan, and Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of Genting Group, Tan Sri Lim Kok Thai, last week to discuss the matter. The report stated that discussions on the issuance of the licence are still at the initial stage. The Forest City project in Gelang Patah, which started in 2015, boasts residential units, 2 hotels, 2 international golf courses, and a water theme park, among others. Forest City is also home to largest industrial building system IBS prefabricated factory in Malaysia, Shatuk Saint Mary Forest City International School. Malaysia is soon to have a dual 5G network as per government policy, according to Digital Minister Gobind Singh Dio. He said the government's policy had always been moving towards a dual network.
I hope that they can move forward quickly, because it's very important for us to make sure that we get we can focus on 5G rollout and so that all industries and everyone concerned can take full benefit from 5G technology.
He said this to reporters after attending a Connected Industries Day, Transforming Manufacturing with 5G and AI event in Georgetown today. He said now that the Board of Directors for Digital Nasional Berhad DNB have been appointed, the board will need to do the due diligence. He said the due diligence was being prepared and should be ready soon. The Employee Provident Fund EPF today announced the EPF Account Restructuring Initiative, which will take effect on 11th May with the introduction of a flexible account for short-term financial needs. EPF Chief Executive Officer Encik Ahmad Zulkarnain in a statement said the main focus of the initiative is to empower members in making decisions to balance future needs for retirement between short, medium and long-term financial needs. He said this initiative will also help increase members' retirement savings so that they will have sufficient retirement income to sustain their needs after retirement. Now, under the account restructuring initiative, all accounts of members under the age of 55 will be restructured from the previous 2 accounts, namely Account 1 and Account 2, to 3 accounts. The 3 accounts will be known as Account Persaraan to accumulate savings that will serve as income during retirement, while Account Sejahtera is to address life cycle needs that contribute to well-being during retirement. Account Flexible, meanwhile, will be a new account that provides flexibility for short-term financial needs, with savings in the account can be withdrawn at any time according to the member's needs, with a minimum withdrawal of 50 ringgit. All contributions after May 11, 2024 will be allocated into the 3 new accounts according to the following manners: 75% into Account Persaraan, 15% into Account Sejahtera, and 10% into Account Flexible. Now, adding to that, Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad Chief Economist Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid said EPF is evolving, shifting from a traditional focus on savings for retirements to a delicate balancing act between ensuring adequate retirement savings and supporting the economic survival of their members. Muhammad Afzal Nizam also stressed that EPF is not the sole organisation responsible for societal betterment, as the country have policies on education, healthcare, entrepreneurship and financial assistance, among others, that will provide the right platform for Malaysians to lead better lives. Now, these policies are governed by various ministries and government agencies. Therefore, a broader perspective on economic development needs to be adopted. Meanwhile, University Technology Mara UiTM Arsyad Ayub Graduate Business School AAGBS Senior Lecturer Professor Tan Pek Leong said Malaysia is transitioning into an aging nation and life expectancy is on the rise due to advancements in healthcare. He said it is crucial to recognize that today's action will profoundly impact tomorrow's financial security, and retirees will require substantial financial resources to sustain themselves. Withdrawals should only be considered for essential long-term investments such as education, housing or medical emergencies. In essence, Tan said the EPF should be treated as a compulsory long-term savings vehicle. Up next, in the business segment, educational aspects must be enhanced to develop highly skilled workers. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said the government will share details on the Subsidy Rationalisation plan, including its criteria and implications, soon. Elaborating further on the matter, Rafizi emphasised that if the government subsidy rationalisation policy is successful, the savings could be diverted into social assistance, potentially boosting poverty reduction while generating fiscal savings. He noted that 11.6 million individuals, or 52.6% of Malaysians aged 18 and above, have registered on the centralised database hub PADU.
Therefore, harmonization and preparation to something as big as this does take more than a year. Government knows exactly what will happen, what is the mechanism. It hasn't been communicated because we want to manage the communication. This gives us the sufficient bandwidth to finally implement subsidy retargeting and transition away from the regressive model of blanket subsidy. With this level of necessary granular data, we can minimize both exclusion and inclusion errors and ensure an equitable distribution of subsidies to those that need them most.
Meanwhile, Malaysia Economic Monitor report highlighted Malaysia's long-term growth prospects, which depend critically on bolstering its human capital by improving learning outcomes for children. On another note, Rafizi said the education aspect needs to be strengthened to produce more skilled workers. Rafizi noted that the skills possessed would enable Malaysia to be more competitive and at the same time capable of boosting the country's economy.
In that context, I think it's the same philosophy we must take in reforming our education system. If we are to move from the bottom third of PISA performance, where we are now, I suppose, to the top third, we need to be brave enough to institute creative, albeit controversial policy. But I'm very clear that as a minister, I'm signed up to do reform. And for that to happen, most probably there's no immediate result. And most probably, just like I mentioned before, the outcome will show in the next few years down the line.
The Malaysia's Economic Monitor report by the World Bank emphasised that the long-term growth prospect of Malaysia depend on strengthening human capital. The report makes 4 recommendations to improve learning outcomes. This includes ensuring that children benefit from quality preschool education and are ready to learn in primary schools, besides increasing access to early childhood education and quality for low-income households. The inaugural Kusuma Human Resource Ministry Green Skills Fair is offering more than 3,000 green jobs for Malaysians, according to Minister Stephen Sim. Met at the fair's launch today, he said the green economy such as environmental care and sustainability are becoming fundamental to society. These changes will generate more job opportunities, he said, while highlighting plans to boost Malaysia's green economy.
Ini merupakan antara fokus Kementerian Kesuma untuk mempersiapkan tenaga kerja Malaysia berdepan dengan cabaran ekonomi abad ke-21 seperti kecerdasan buatan AI, digitalization dan juga green economy.
He said according to data from My Future Jobs last year, there were 30,000 green jobs available. The fair, organised by Talent Corp and the social security organisation SOCSO, promotes public awareness and understanding of green skills, focusing on their importance and emerging opportunities within the green economy. Job seekers and those interested to enhance their skills may visit the fair at the Avenue K Mall in the nation's capital, which is on until Saturday. Johor Menteri Besar Dato' Onn Hafiz Ghazi has stated that the state is taking inspiration from Shenzhen, China for its development. He said Johor and Shenzhen share many similarities and the southernmost state of Peninsular Malaysia is looking to replicate Shenzhen's success in developing its economy in just 4 decades by leveraging its neighbouring cities' advanced economy. The Menteri Besar said various initiatives have been planned and laid out to leverage Johor's proximity with neighbours Singapore, such as the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, Special Financial Zone and Rapid Transit System link. Dato' Onn Hafiz said through JSSEZAC, the government plans to create an ease of doing business in the state and to allow for faster movement between Johor and Singapore. Besides that, he said the state government is looking at introducing incentives for corporate and personal tax. Meanwhile, Johor Investment, Trade and Consumer Affairs Committee Chairman Lee Ting Han said the state government has approved about 250 investment projects involving various sectors in the first quarter of this year, most of them from China. He said this positive growth helps the state government's effort to establish the JSSEZAC and also FSZAC in 4 cities in the state. The Small and Medium Enterprises Association of Malaysia, Samanta, has asked the government to exempt small traders and micro enterprises from the upcoming e-invoice regime. President Dr. William Ng said micro enterprises such as barbers, food hawkers and sundry shops would be hard-pressed to issue e-invoices as they would have to stop frequently to do so, and it would lead to long delays for other customers. Commenting further through a statement released, Dato' Ng noted that 76.7% of all businesses are micro enterprises with revenue under 300,000 ringgit per annum and having few, if any, employees. He said the current e-invoicing process is too complicated and the number of data fields at 55 is far too many. Dato' Ng noted that Samanta has conducted 7 rounds of e-invoicing seminars since January way for its members and other small and medium enterprises SMEs numbering over 3,000 SMEs. He noted that e-invoicing, consulting, information technology system upgrade, training and additional employees could result in additional costs of up to 200,000 ringgit per SME in the first year and up to 50,000 ringgit per annum in subsequent years. This excludes any penalties and fines for errors and delays in data collection, issuing of e-invoices and submission of consolidated e-invoice. The Companies Commission of Malaysia, SSM, expects more companies to utilise the new corporate rehabilitation framework introduced by the Companies Amendment Act 2024, which came into force on 1st of April. SSM Director for Corporate Compliance Division Nur Haiza Jemon said the new act would facilitate companies facing financial difficulties and support economic recovery and competitiveness. The first policy cluster is widening the application of corporate rescue mechanism under Corporate Voluntary Arrangement CVA and Judicial Management JM, while the second is strengthening the corporate rehabilitation framework through enhancement of provisions relating to the scheme of arrangement or compromise, as well as enhancement of provision on CVA and JM. The third cluster is strengthening the beneficial ownership BO reporting framework, and the last cluster focuses on enhancing corporate governance and practices. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer Datuk Nur Azimi Abdul Aziz said the recently promulgated Companies Act Amendment 2024 reflects SSM's unwavering dedication to modernising regulatory frameworks, enhancing corporate governance standards and promoting sustainable business practices that foster innovation, competitiveness as well as investors' confidence. According to Singapore-based CDN Providers, CD Networks, to maximize live streaming's potential to benefit Malaysia's flourishing e-commerce sector, robust content delivery network CDN capabilities must be integrated with advanced streaming media technologies to maintain video quality, keep customers engaged and unlock new revenue streams. Its Southeast Asia and Australia New Zealand head of sales Yen Wu said the digital landscape of Malaysian e-commerce is rapidly transforming, with live streaming emerging as a powerful tool for retailers and brands to engage customers, showcase products and drive sales. He said the digital landscape of Malaysian e-commerce is rapidly transforming, with live streaming emerging as a powerful tool for retailers and brands to engage customers, showcase products and drive sales. The number speaks volumes, whereby a top-performing online sales platform, live sellers across Malaysia, have collectively ranked in a staggering 4.6 million sales over the past years, hosting a whopping 2,300 live streams. He said by leveraging a CDN's distributed network of servers, businesses can overcome geographical hurdles, varying network conditions, and scalability issues. Malaysia's inflation remained at 1.8% in March 2024, with the index recording 132.2 points versus 129.9 in the same period last year. Department of Statistics or DOSM said the housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, restaurant, accommodation services, personal care, social protection, miscellaneous goods and services and transports saw an increase in inflation in March. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair Mahidin said the increase of 3% compared to 2.7% in February 2024 for housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels was contributed by the expenditure class of water supply, which increased to 31.4% in March 2024 compared to February 2024's 28.8%. Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair said the FNB group, which contributes 29.8% of the total CPI weight, recorded a slower increase of 1.7% in March 2024 compared to 1.9% in February 2024. Now, for quarterly comparison, Malaysia's inflation increased 0.7%. He said core inflation increased slower at 1.7% as compared to 1.8% in February 2024. Compared with inflation in other selected countries, inflation in Malaysia was lower than inflation in Vietnam, the Philippines, United States, South Korea and Indonesia. However, the rate is higher than China and Thailand by 0.1% and negative 0.5% respectively. China will be the top contributor to global growth over the next 5 years, with its share bigger than all of the group of 7 G7 countries combined. According to Bloomberg calculations using International Monetary Fund IMF forecasts, in the next 5 years, 75% of global growth is expected to be concentrated in 20 countries, with more than half in the top 4 countries, namely China, India, the United States and Indonesia. Bloomberg, in a report released recently, said China will account for about 21% of the world's new economic activities from 2024 to 2029, compared with 20% for the G7 and nearly 12% for the United States. Last Tuesday, the International Monetary Fund revised up its global economic growth outlook for this year to 3.2%, a slight increase of 0.1 percentage point from its January assessment, after highlighting that the world economy is still resilient. IMF's senior representative to China, Stephen Barnett, expressed confidence over China's economic vitality and resilience, saying the country's economy is crucial to stabilizing global growth and remains an important engine for global growth. The yen was pinned on the weaker side of 155 per dollar today as the Bank of Japan BOJ kicks off its 2-day rate setting meeting, leaving traders nervous as to whether Tokyo will intervene while policy deliberations are still underway. Having traded in a tight range over the past few days, a buoyant dollar finally broke the above 155 yen level for the first time since 1990 in the previous session and was last steady at 155.34 yen in early Asia trade. Intense speculation of intervention from Japanese authorities to shore up the yen had hampered the dollar's ascent towards the psychologically key level, seen by some market participants as a line in descent that would prompt Tokyo to take action. The breach of the 155 yen level comes as the BOJ meets to discuss monetary policy, though expectations are for the central bank to keep its short-term interest rate target unchanged following last month's landmark exit from negative rates. Japan's Nikkei, meanwhile, slid 1.3% after rising sharply in the previous session. Toyota Motors said today its global sales and production hit record highs in the year ended 31st March, supported by robust demand and the absence of semiconductor supply constraints it had to endure in recent years. Still, Toyota plans to delay the start of its electric vehicle EV production in the US and trim domestic production to ensure product safety and quality after a series of scandals at its group firms. For the year ended March, Toyota said its parent-only global sales rose 7.3% to 10.31 million units year-on-year, surpassing 10 million mark for the first time, while its output came to 9.97 million units, up 9.2% over the year. The world's largest automaker by volume, however, saw its sales and production fall in March amid fierce competition in China, the world's largest auto market. Its global battery EV sales in the year ended March, meanwhile, jumped more than threefold to 116,654 units. Toyota plans to push back the start of its EV production in the US to the spring of 2026 from the original plan of 2025, according to a newspaper report, which added that the automaker plans to intentionally set up pause period in its business to ensure quality and safety. Toyota officials were, however, not immediately available to comment. Oil prices steadied today after settling lower in the previous day as signs of retreating fuel demand in the US, the world's biggest oil user, contended with widening conflict risks in the key West Asia producing region. Brent crude futures inched up 18% to $88.20 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 13 cents to $82.94 a barrel. Data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration (EIA) yesterday showed that the gasoline stockpiles fell less than forecast, while distillates stockpiles rose against expectations of a decline, reflecting signs of slowing demand. The falling fuel demand is occurring amid signs of cooling U.S. business activity in April, and a stronger than expected inflation and employment data means the U.S. Federal Reserve is more likely to delay expected interest rate cuts, weighing on economic sentiments. Geopolitics aside, prices this quarter will be driven by the factors including major producer supply cuts, economic data out of China and Eurozone, on top of incremental demand expectations as the Northern Hemisphere heads to summer amid expected tighter supply. Meanwhile, fighting in the Gaza Strip between Israel and Hamas is expected to expand as Israel may start an assault on Rafah in the enclave's south, which may increase the risk of a wider war that would potentially Ikuti Tan and his two daughters guilty of scamming investors over loans issued in 2019 and 2020. State media reported Tan, the 71-year-old chairman of beverage group Terima, was ruled to have mastermind scams to appropriate assets put up as collateral against loans. The court also sentenced Tan, 43-year-old daughter Tran Wen Fong, the company's deputy CEO, to 4 years in jail, while younger daughter Trang Ngopik, 40, was given a suspended 3-year jail sentence. Terima is one of Vietnam's biggest beverage companies, known for its range of bottled tea and energy drinks. Some of Vietnam's most successful business leaders have been snared in the country's blazing furnace graft purge. The sweep has been driven by powerful Communist Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong, and more than 1,700 cases have been prosecuted since 2021. So that concludes this edition of Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, MINDEF ready to review rehearsal SOPs after copter crash. Till then, I'm Shuhaida Arifin from River to the Sea. Palestine will be free. Thank you for watching.